Welcome back to another video on our channel. Today we're going to be going through our best things and our worst things about living here in Australia. We've been here for like a year and a half now, so we've got a pretty good idea of the things that we like and the things that we don't like. There's definitely a lot of positives, but there's a few negatives.
Because I think it's very useful to know these things before you come out. Okay, so first of all, we're going to start off with the best things, because, you know, start the video off on a positive note.
There's a lot of good things about living in Australia.
Oh yeah.
I think one that goes without saying is the weather. Like, realistically, that's the main reason we moved to Australia. Like, it's so good, the weather here. If it wasn't like so hot all the time, I don't think we would have moved to Australia, realistically. No,
it's just like that pure vitamin D all the time. It just instantly makes you feel happy. And literally sunny 5 AM in the morning in summer this year till what, 8 o'clock in the evening? It's so nice.
I think being here, you realise like why everyone's so depressed in the UK, because like in the UK, if you're lucky, you'll get like a few weeks of hot weather, but here, especially in Perth where we are now, like it's hot. We've seen like 2 days of rain in like 3 months.
I just want to emphasise that it does depend on which part of Australia you're in, because not all parts are sunny. If you go to Melbourne, you're going to have English weather. Yeah. I'm telling you that now.
But like 9 months of the year, in most places it is sick. I'm actually shocked by the winter. It's actually quite cold in the winter.
Yeah.
But overall, I'd say the weather is definitely like one of the best things about living in Australia.
Yeah. So I'm going to put on the screen now where the best places to go each time of the year, so you can just see where you want to go and where to get the vitamin D from. So to go off that comment about the sun, I just wanted to say the 5 AM club, because in the UK, it's hard to get up at 5 AM, and here, everything opens at 5 AM. The coffee shops are open, it's sunny outside, people are just doing their walks with their dogs, like it's so active at 5 AM, whereas England, most of the coffee shops don't open till like, what, 8 AM or something? Is it pretty late? 6 AM, it's pretty late. I was never a 5 AM girl in the UK, it's just so dark all the time.
Yeah, even with me, like, I've been like a night owl my whole life.
Yeah.
And like, it's either meeting you or it's living in Australia, but
it's definitely a bit of both.
But like, I've 100% turned into like more of an early bird now. Like, standard on the weekend, I'll get up at like 7, 8, which in the UK, no chance. Especially in the winter, I'd lie in bed till like 10. So like here it's decent.
It's perfect if you want to have that great morning routine and just be an early bird.
So the next best thing about living in Australia is the wage. Like, the wage here is so good. Like, especially compared, like, we're comparing everything to the UK, but like the wage in the UK is so bad, especially like compared to the cost of living and that. I hear things are expensive, but you get like your money's worth, because the pay is literally like double.
So I was a manager in the UK at Subway. I was on maybe £11 an hour or something. It worked out. I was on a salary, so
that's for a manager.
That's for a manager role, whereas now I'm actually on £30 an hour, which equals to what, about 15 quid?
You mean $30 an hour?
Yeah, $30 an hour, which equals out to,
and like, I'm literally working, like, I'm like selling outdoor furniture at the minute, and I'm getting paid like over $30 an hour, which is like £17.
It's pretty
A retail job in the UK, you're getting like, what, seven quid? Maybe
sometimes. It may have gone up a bit more. I think maybe
it's probably gone up, but still, the wage here, like,
we're gonna make the most out of our visas just to be able to save money to go to more places. Like, it's the best place to save. If you've got a skill as well, like, you're winning. You're winning. Yeah. If you're a nurse in England, I'd just pack your bags and come over here now and get your wage.
Or anything like construction, like, I don't know what, if you're working one of them jobs, get yourself out here.
Okay, so my next favourite thing about Australia is you're going to meet so many like-minded people. Australia is the place to meet backpackers, and like, how many English people do we meet out here?
Yeah, you probably meet more English people than back home.
And we're all on the same vibe, because we've all moved thousands of miles away. We're in a new country, we're all on these working holiday visas, and it's just so nice to connect with like-minded people that have escaped the trap of staying in their hometown.
Back home, everyone's just stuck in their hometown. Like, they're the only people you meet, people who are just going to the pub every weekend. Yeah. Out here, you meet people who are actually like doing something with their life, and it's like, it helps you, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
now, don't get me wrong, people still go out here, but you get more of a like, they want to go to the beaches, they want to travel to new places, like they want to keep living, whereas I feel like at home it's just a trap.
At home, you just stick to your own little group, and like you don't really meet that many new friends. You just kind of stick with your group.
I just want to say, like, nothing on my friends. I love my friends, I do, but obviously coming away from it all, you actually learn so much about who you are and what you like and what you don't like. Because when you're back home and you're just constantly surrounded by people who are doing the same things, like going to the pub and stuff, you think that's you, but in reality, coming out here, I've realised, one, I've quit drinking for 6 months. 2, I'm just learning so much about what I do and don't like in people. And not gonna lie, like, some friendships have stayed at home, and there's only about 3 people I speak to from back home, and I actually accept that. Like, it's totally fine. So it's such a good opportunity to grow as a person, to come out here.
Right. But the next best thing is like the experiences and stuff, because like out here you do things which you would have never done back home. Like some of the travels we've done and like some of the things we've seen has been sick. Like we literally trekked through the outback, we've done the barrier reef, we've literally seen like crocodiles in the wild. And we've done so much stuff that like if you were back home you would never have done.
It's all them places where you see them on the movies and the TV and you're like, wow, and like, we've actually done that. I think my moment where I was like, oh my god, I'm actually here, was when I first got to Sydney, and I went for a run around Sydney Harbour House, and I was...
Sydney Harbour House?
No, it's Sydney... What's it called? Opera House. I've been at work all day, guys.
Sydney Harbour House.
Sydney Opera House, and I was just like, oh my god, like, I'm actually... in Finding Nemo right now.
I got the same with Uluru. Like, Ayers Rock, like getting there, it was like, what? You fully made it to Australia, innit, when you're there. Yeah,
especially Ayers Rock, like that's an incredible thing to see. Now we're gonna go on to all things that we don't like about living in Australia. Okay, so I'm gonna say going on hikes. Not because I don't love hiking, because I love hiking. It's going on the hike and expecting to see snakes, dangerous animals, spiders.
You don't know what you're gonna find, do you?
Probably get heat stroke. Like, you have to time it right. Like, you can't really go hiking in the summer because it's so hot.
Yeah, we haven't done a hike in months.
Yeah, I love hiking so much. Whereas in the UK, like, you can just go to the forest or like go to the mountains, and it's just, you just gotta expect rain, but there's no dangerous animals.
The worst thing you're gonna find is like a fox. And like, if it chases you, you're unlucky.
I still don't know what I would do if I got bit by a spider.
I think any of us.
I don't know. So I actually, I would panic. So I'm kind of missing like the hikes sort of thing and just not being scared.
My first bad thing is kind of similar to that. It's like the bugs and especially the flies.
Oh my god, don't get me started.
Like, you come to Australia, you expect that the worst animals are going to be snakes and the spiders, but the flies, the cockroaches, and like all the little, I mean, to be honest, I hate them. You literally despise them.
Did we talk about the mouse the other day?
I'm talking about the bugs.
Okay.
You hate the bugs. I mean, like, I hate the bugs as well.
He would just let the fly land on him.
You have to, otherwise you're like this every 2 seconds. Like,
that's literally me. Honestly, it's like...
but like in the outback, we had to wear like fly nets.
Oh my god, yeah, but insert a picture. Fly nets, like, because they go for all your moist spots. Your mouth, your ears, your nose, your eyes.
Like, that's what you hear like all the time.
And the mosquitoes. Honestly, and if you go to the more like humid places like Cairns, just Darwin, and well, Alice Springs as well.
Yeah, they are.
The mosquitoes, like the amount of mosquito bites I got was, I think, just really like my blood. It's because I'm vegetarian.
Bugs and that.
Don't be worried about the snakes and the dangerous spiders. I mean, we've seen 1 dangerous spider and 1 dangerous snake in the 2 years of being here.
2 years, but about 1 million flies.
So, living in the UK, I feel like we've all got the same sort of sense of humour, and I just came out here, and obviously I've worked with Aussies and like been around them quite a lot, and they just don't get my sense of humour. I don't know if it's just me.
I think that's just you.
No, I don't think they do. Like, sometimes they do, but I just think we've got a different kind of like sense of humour.
100%, yeah.
And obviously it's normal because we're from different countries, but
I feel like the UK's got a very unique sense of humour. Everyone gets each other because it's like the same
and this is why I find it harder to bond with Aussies, because most of the friends we met out here are English and Irish, so not gonna lie, like, I have bonded with people in my work.
Yeah, like, you'll get on with them. Like, you will get on with them. It's just
it just takes time.
Yeah, and you might not have the same level of like banter that you would with like English people straight away.
Yeah, exactly.
But still, they're pretty chill.
Yeah.
So the next bad thing about living in Australia is like the time zones and how far apart everything is. First of all, like when you want to call your family and stuff back home, you can't just ring them at like 2 in the afternoon because obviously they're going to be fast asleep. Obviously things are so far apart. Like we're in Perth now, and we're the nearest city to us is like a good 3-4 hours away. Like if you want to fly to like Sydney, it's a good like 6 hours.
People underestimate how big Australia is.
100.
People think they're going to come here and do it all in 1 week. I tell you what, you think again, think again. So yeah, the time zones, obviously, like, yeah, it's really hard, especially like if something goes wrong, like I do just want to speak to my mom, and you just have to, they all still work back home, and you just can't just be like, oh, give them a ring, and it's hard, but we schedule.
Yeah, exactly.
The next thing is chocolate and crisps. Sorry, but I don't know what they put in dairy milk over here, but it's not the same in the UK.
I feel like Aussies get offended when you say
the chocolate is bad.
Chocolate is shit, but it is.
It is.
And their crisps aren't great either.
And trust me, I am a chocolate
connoisseur.
Connoisseur.
There's no quavers. There's no Walkers.
No, you do. Right, you'll only get quavers if you go to one of the really, really expensive
like
sweet shops.
for a tiny
Yeah. Just be warned that, what would you say the best chocolate is out here? The Aldi. Probably the Aldi chocolate.
Aldi chocolate, yeah. That's actually decent.
Yeah.
But like, you go to the chocolate section, it's shit. Isn't it?
Yeah. The best crisp probably them sweet chilli and sour cream.
It's not the same, it just tastes different. Doesn't it?
I don't do Galaxy over here either.
I don't do
Oh, it just melts in
To be
your
fair,
mouth.
right, the next point for me is very relevant to how it is right now, is when it's too hot. I know I included the weather as one of the good things, which 90% of the time it is. But when it gets above like 35, like it's actually unbearable.
I mean, let's just say we are British, so we're gonna moan if it's cold and we're gonna moan if it's hot.
The thing is, I don't moan when it's hot.
I
when it's
bloody do.
40 degrees and you can't even sit in bed without sweating.
Can I just say though, if you come to Australia, you'll probably get air conditioning, whereas we live in a shared house. Just make sure you get a house with air conditioning, because you won't be moaning when it's 40 degrees if you've got air conditioning.
No.
So the last one is about the West Coast. So unless you drive, it's very, very hard to go traveling on the West Coast, which is absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
Because they're not like the East Coast where they do a lot of tours and stuff, because there's a lot of cities.
Yeah.
Obviously your West Coast is very secluded, and yeah, there's not any tours that really go out there, so you're kind of missing out if you don't drive.
A long drive between each place here.
Yeah.
Like on the East Coast, you're like each hour there's like a different thing. There's no
It's
Perth's
so
only
far
city.
apart.
Perth's like, if you got a car, you're sweet, but if you don't, it can be hard to get about.
Yeah, that's pretty much everything that we wanted to just discuss today regarding best and worst things about Australia. I find that these videos are very helpful if you are thinking about coming out, or you're already here and you're just settling in. If you want to see more like this, let us know.
Yeah, we'll do some more advice videos.
We loved watching them before we came out.
Yeah, we actually watched so many.
And we're watching so many Southeast Asia ones right now.
Yeah,
so get prepared for them as well.
Make sure you subscribe, because we're actually like planning so much stuff for this channel as well. Like we've got so much travelling coming up. Sick video next week.
Oh, next week's gonna be good.
Just stay tuned for that.
And share with all your friends. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.